Hey, how y'all doing today? Sorry for a late, doing a late Sunday podcast. A lot was going on for some technical difficulties there, so we're just going to have to make do with what we got. We're here now, right? We're here. Welcome to episode 47. Today's episode's about why you need basic world building for your hero's journey. Before we begin, though, I'm going to do some quick housekeeping. Okay, so first of all, 4 episodes left until episode 50, where everything changes forever. Okay, remember, episode 50 is the last episode of this series, of this era. It's the end of an era, I'll be honest with you. We'll talk more about that probably either tonight or tomorrow. We'll see. I'm thinking maybe 49, maybe 48. We'll see. 51, starting from 51, once again, it's going to be completely different, completely revamped show. We're going to do a lot more stuff. It's going to be a lot more heavily focused on the YouTube. It's going to be great. I'm also still going to be doing the podcast via the iTunes and all the other outlets. So if you are listening through there, don't worry. As far as long form podcasting is concerned, there's probably not going to be a long form podcast for the iTunes and other outlets. It will probably be snipped out for the full live stream will be on YouTube for sure. But when it comes to the the pertinent information, we'll probably put that at the front of the show. So if you're listening specifically only on iTunes, that's great. I highly recommend you check out the YouTube. The YouTube's going to have a bunch of stuff on it. I'm very, very, very excited about it. I think it's going to be great. So, another thing, follow up. What do you want to hear from me? Like, I know a lot of you listen, who are listening through the iTunes and the SoundCloud and all that are very, very active. So let me know what you think. Come on down to YouTube, put a little comment in the comment section, or you can send me an email. You can send me an email, ZolYinPodcast@gmail.com. Again, that's ZolYinPodcast@gmail.com. I don't think I'm going to change the name of the show. I think the show is just going to be the overall brand of the show, and then we'll have mini shows with their own unique names. I think that's what's going to end up happening. That way you know what to click on, what you're about to listen to, in case you're not interested in something or you're super interested in something, and you can prioritize things as you go. So there's that. Now back to the world building topic. So a lot of people ask, what is world building? So, because people always have a conversation about it. There's a lot of conversation about world building. Some people count certain things as world building. Some people count other things as world building. It's pretty controversial. People have like their own set of rules of what world building means. Other people say, it's a more universally accepted, concept. Like, it's more of a concept that everybody can kind of like reframe for their own perspective. I'll just tell you what Wikipedia says, because that's more of a first thing you see when you type it in on Google, right, or any other search engine. It's like the first thing you'll see. World building is the process of constructing an imaginary world, sometimes associated with a fictional universe. Developing an imaginary setting with coherent qualities such as a history, geography, and ecology is a key task for many science fiction or fantasy writers. So I just wanted to kind of put that out there so you can kind of get an idea of what it is or what it could mean for you. Everybody's going to be different. Everybody's going to have their own way of looking at things. Some people say world building is specifically just the history and the locations and the geography and the people, and that's it. Other people say it's the language, it's the number systems, it's the mindsets of the people, it's the way that people interact with one another. It's a whole lot of things, right? A lot of people have a different perspective on it. Some people have a very huge aspect view of it. Some people have a smaller aspect view of it. Some people say, hey, the magic system is part of the world building. Some people say, nope, it's its own thing. That's, it's interchangeable. It could be interchangeable with anything. That's why it's its own thing. So it's a very back and forth, controversial topic. I just wanted to put it out there so you can form your own idea and, do your own research. And of course, make up your mind and see it as you see it, right? I always advocate do what works for you. Think about it the way you want to think about it. It's a very back and forth kind of concept. It's not, in my opinion, a one and done kind of deal. There's lots of ways of different angles of looking at it. So why do people like world building? Well, the reason is people like consistency. People like reliability. They like to be able to put things in a box. They like to be able to categorize things. They like to be able to see what's familiar and be comfortable with what's familiar. People like comfort. When you're familiar, it's comfortable. They feel an ownership of it. They feel like it's a place that could really exist, that they can escape to, that they can go to. Remember, most fantasy and science fiction, it's a place of escape. People read this stuff for entertainment. They want to escape to somewhere. They want to go somewhere else for a little bit. They want to go to different places. It's like a vacation. You have to think of it that way. Telling a story is you creating a vacation spot, basically, for these people. It could be a horrible place, mind you, like a horror story, or it could be, a sad story, and that's fine too. But the point is people are escaping their own current life for the moment and into a different world. It's the same thing with movies. All these mediums are about escape, okay? So they don't necessarily want to be in the world that they're in currently. They want to read something else, and that's not to say that they don't like it, the world that they're in. It's just about, having a break, right? Everyone needs a break. So it's a fun time. People get enjoyment out of it because they want to see different worlds, different lives, different stories. They want to be inspired, educated, whatever, right? So there's that. That's why people like it. It's fun to do. It's fun to see, and they enjoy it. So there's that. Why do writers use it? Kind of the same reason why people like it. It's consistent. It's familiar. It's easy to categorize. You have more of an ownership of your stories when you write something that has a world that you created. You feel like it's a real place that you can go to, and you could tell a story better when it's that way. That's just the reality behind it. People like it because it's familiar. When it's unfamiliar and it's brand new, it takes time for people to warm up to something. Even if they love it, they're never going to love it as much as they grow into the loving of it, right? It's just one of those things. People want to encounter something new and then become a master of that thing, okay? That's the point. So they want to be knowledgeable. They want to feel like they know what the heck's going on. And when they can know what's going on, they feel smarter. That's kind of a big reason why world building is so popular. So how can world building improve your story? Well, here's the thing. World building helps you almost tell the story for you in some ways. Basically, putting a character you've already created, you already know who they are inside and outside, you know how they react, putting them in a setting you already know, you already have a deep understanding of it, you kind of already know where the character's going to go, how they're going to react to things, how they're going to behave, and how the world will react back. You can tell that story pretty much on its own without even having an overall plot. You can do a daily story of their everyday life and it'd still be interesting. That's kind of the whole secret about being a writer, is creating all these parts that are tools, and you're actually putting the tools together to make something, right? It's almost like some artist has their own brush, they have their own fonts, they have their own filter, they have their own masks on their Photoshop. That's these things, the world, the characters, the items, the magic system, these are all your tutorial tools. They're all your tools for you to do stuff with, right? The only difference is you can't really put it on a Gumroad and then have people use it. You know what I mean? It's just, the only person I know who's done that was H.P. Lovecraft, and he just said anyone can use it. It's open domain, and people took to it. They're like, oh, this is great. Thank you. Whereas, if you're an everyday guy, you probably won't work out the same way you want it to. It's a little different nowadays. But anyways, so that's kind of how you can use it to improve your story. It's a tool to improve your ability to tell the story. You're using it as an extension of yourself, right? As an extension of your ability, your craft. So you already have the brush, you already have the tool set, you're just putting it together now. That's all it is. You're building it. It's like IKEA. You put it together, it's already ready to go, you're just putting it in now. You're just putting the A to B and it's good to go. So there's that. How I personally world build is pretty straightforward. I think you'll understand how it works. If you are familiar, so if you're a video game guy, you play video games, you're gonna I think you'll understand this. You know how GTA is just basically already pre-built. It's a pre-built world. Saints Row is the same way. It's a pre-built world. You can put a custom character in there and you just go do whatever you want, right? It's open world. It's a sandbox, right? That's how I world build. I built the world. I have a basic idea of what's going to happen in the first couple of chapters or first couple of arcs or whatever. Just a general idea. And then as I get closer and closer to the details, like outlining it, I already know the characters. I plop them in. I put a new plot in there. I see what works in that world. If that plot's an exciting plot. If it's not, I pull that plot out. I put a new plot in, and I just keep putting plots until one of the plots I feel like is like, just by looking at the actual A, the stakes, B, the excitement, C, the introspection, the character introspection, and the relationships between characters and that chemistry. Once I have that right combination of fiery energy here and also, appropriate slow moments that help you build the world a little bit more, that's when I am all set. That's my world right there. I built the world. I have a general idea. I have a flavor, maybe a color in mind, and then a culture, maybe a race in mind. I just kind of put pieces together and see what's fitting for me, and then what is exciting to look at and imagine, right? You just kind of get ideas, right? You go on Google, you see some images of places, and just kind of jumpstart you, right? Just to kind of give you a brainstorm. Get a piece of paper, notebook paper, and just start writing. Just start writing places, like settings, ideas. Like, it's I don't know, it's a sky city, but tigers run the place. Just some random idea you have, right? That's gonna be maybe one line of 100 different places, right? And you're just constantly throwing stuff out there in your mind, and you just kind of go down the list a couple days later when your mind is fresh and you don't have a personal attachment to any of those ideas. And then you go, oh, that one's really interesting. Move that to the side. And you just pick a handful of them. Okay then. That's how you do it. And that's how I personally do it. Your mileage may vary. Personally, speaking of your mileage may vary, use as much or as little of world building as you need. It's like a spice. Use it as you need it. Do what works for you. That's how you become successful as a writer, someone who is crafting a universe, who's building something. You got to be able to go your own path, trailblaze for yourself. Don't ever just take somebody's whole thing. Pardon my French, almost said something else. Don't take somebody's whole thing and just try to fit it into your life. Just look at it, assess it, pick and choose what works, and just keep plugging away. And just keep improving yourself, because that's going to be the big ticket for you, improving yourself as you do it. So that's it for today's podcast. That's all I have. So if you have anything, once again, you have any new ideas that you wanna hear from me, any topics you want me to cover, more than happy to look at those. It'd be fun to talk about. Again, 3 more episodes from now after this one. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Appreciate your time. Have a great day. Bye-bye.